What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another late night in the BrewLab with me, Lone Fox, your brewmaster in chief. And tonight in the BrewLab, I'm coming at you with another Orzhov deck. And I know we had an Orzhov deck not too long ago, but this is going like completely in a different direction. Whereas that was vampire tribal. Tonight we're looking at vehicles. And yeah, without further ado, let's jump into tonight's brew. Orzhov vehicles. It did start off as Esper, and I just kind of ended up in Orzhov. We might end up having to try the Esper list as well, but yeah, I'll take it from the top, as I always do. I'll describe the deck for you guys from left to right. I'll explain to you why it is that I picked the cards, how it is that they synergize with the other cards in the deck, and believe me, there are quite a few in this one. And then we'll jump into some, and then of course what some of the various play lines and interactions might be. And we're gonna jump into some gameplay footage, hopefully get to show off all of those play lines and interactions for you guys against some opponents on the Mythic ladder. And then we'll jump back in at the end with my final thoughts, overall deck review, and if I do make any adjustments along the way, which is a kind of normal BrewLab thing, if this is your first time tuning in, welcome. But I do tend to adjust a little bit along the way, kind of based on my results. And then if those adjustments are like significant, then I like to discuss why it is that I did that at the end. So stick around. But we've got a full playset of the Hotshot Mechanic and a full playset of Okiba Reckoner Raid, which is like a really good reason to play Orzhov vehicles, because they're both pretty good one-drops. The Hotshot Mechanic cruise vehicles as though its toughness were 2 greater. Its power, which means it can crew a Surgehacker Mech by itself. Crew 4 with a 1-drop is pretty fantastic. But that's, the only real good. I mean, of course, then it's also, you can start swinging it on turn 2 for 2 power. There's plenty of decks that don't put down any creatures until turn 3 or 4, and that's quite a bit of damage that you can get in there. Then we've got a couple copies of Bloodchief's Thirst, of course. Then talking about Okiba Reckoner Raid, the first 2 chapters do you a little bit of gain and drain, which is great, and then when it flips to the Nezumi Road Captain, it gives your vehicles menace. Also great. I mean, the Surgehacker Mech already does have menace, and we don't have too many other vehicles, honestly. It's the Reckoner Bankbuster and the Unlicensed Hearse, but I've been finding that it's, giving the Unlicensed Hearse menace has been amazing. This is kind of the new addition to the deck, which we'll get to. Then I've got a couple copies of Fracture. Initially, the brew was like this. I had 3 copies of Fracture, and I've got some friends on Discord that thought this wouldn't be the best idea, and honestly, right now, the majority of my matches are against Boros, Naya Runes, and or Selesnya Enchantments, or something that runs the Kami of Transience. And then, your Esper mid-range Planeswalker piles. Against 2 of those, Fracture is amazing. Against, obviously, Naya Runes and your Esper piles. So, I don't know. And I mean, even occasional, like, Reanimator, you can get rid of... in Boros, you can target the... oh my goodness, why am I drawing a blank now? The Kumano faces Kakazan, of course, is an enchantment creature, but otherwise it's the matchup, where this is the most dead card, which is why, and because it's such a huge part of the meta, I'm starting to think that my friends on Discord are right, and so then I needed to find a sneaky one of to make up for because I still want 2 Fracture, but 3 might be too many. And that's how I landed on a single copy of Silverquill Command in the 4-drop slot. Let's see how that ends up playing. But then, in the continuing on the 2 drops, a little bit of a tangent, sorry. We've got 3 copies of Vanishing Verse, still amazing removal in the format, and so I've gone with that. We may end up going down to 2 and maybe put an Infernal Grasp in or something, but it's been doing Vanishing Verse things. It's still just obviously amazing. Then we've got Reckoner Bankbuster for drawing cards, as well as just being a 4/4 that often has menace because of the Nezumi Road Captain, so pretty nice. Unlicensed Hearst. This is taking the place of what initially in the build was a couple of copies of the Mech Titan core, and we may still find a way to trim us a copy of something, maybe a Born to Drive, who knows, and get in a copy of that too, but the Unlicensed Hearst has just been surprisingly strong. Like, it's become a staple in Explorer and apparently Historic for dealing with graveyard stuff, notably the Greasefang Parhelion shenanigans, as well as all of the I'm drawing so many blanks tonight. The Phoenix, Arclight Phoenix decks. But in this deck, and in standard, actually, even if it just picks off like every turn, you're casting things. You've got no way of bringing them back, really. There's one Takenuma, which we're rarely using. So most of the stuff, your interaction, as well as whatever the opponent removes in the early game, like your Hotshot Mechanics or your Okiba Reckoner Reds, then you can just eat them up with your Unlicensed Hearst, and this can quite quickly become like a 4/4, 5, a 6/6, an 8/8, and then you can crew it for 2, which is often the Road Captain, and with Menace, swing in, and it just keeps growing bigger. It's really, really nice, and there's still a lot of graveyard stuff going on in Standard, which this also deals with, so I've just been absolutely loving it. Instead of the Mech Titan as the sneaky 2 of in the 2-drop slot, let's test this one out, and I hope to prove to you guys that it's a great call. Then, Born to Drive makes 2 1/1 colorless pilot creature tokens with this creature crews vehicles with powers. So we've got the Hotshot Mechanic, the Nezumi Road Captain, of course Greasefang, and the pilots from Born to Drive, as well as the pilots from the Reckoner Bankbuster, as well as 3 copies of the Mech Hangar in the mana base. We've got ways of crewing our vehicles, don't worry. Then Path of Peril, early game sweeper action. My whole point with this deck was to have a deck that doesn't really care if you have to sweep your own board, and vehicles are of course great for that, but then if you've swept up the creatures that are going to be crewing your vehicles, then you have a problem, because you can now no longer keep on attacking. But if you've got Mech Hangars in your mana base, if you've got the capacity of generating pilots, maybe you sweep when you've got 1 counter left on the Bankbuster. The following turn, you tap your Bankbuster, you get a pilot, and you've got a Mech Hangar hanging around in your mana base. Then you can crew up a Surgehacker Mech after a sweeper and keep attacking the opponent for 5 damage every turn. It always feels really, really nice. So vehicles, just I don't know what. Like today, I went 7-2 in a standard event with this deck, and which is why I'm recording this video. I feel like there's something really to this, and I hope to show it off to you guys. The Greasefang isn't the central part of the deck. Like, we have 0 discard. We're not trying to like discard something like Parhelion into the graveyard and then use the Greasefang in that sense, which is why I've gone with a 3 of. We could even drop this down to a 2 of. It's really not essential. It's just kind of like additional value in the deck. Of course, it's 4 power, so it can crew every vehicle in the deck, and if the opponent does get rid of a Surgehacker Mech because, you know, they have to for whatever reason. You know, they're scared of a 5/5 menace, mostly. Then you cast your Greasefang and you get your Surgehacker Mech back from the graveyard. Also, just the opponent often removes your Reckoner Bankbusters, or they're trying to kill your unlicensed hosts or whatever if they've got some artifact interaction, or they wait for you to crew it and then they kill it when it's a creature. You know, you can still get those back to your hand, you know, which is great. It's not the major like Uber Duber combo Abzan version of the deck where you're running 4 copies of a Seeker's Chariot or anything like that. It's just in here because it's a nice pilot for your vehicles, and occasionally you bring one back from the graveyard to the battlefield, and if that happens to be a Surgehacker Mech, all the better. Then onto the 4-drops. This is the new edition, Silverquill Command. I don't know. Maybe there's something better we can put in this. I was even looking at Lithoform Engine, which is quite an old card. If you guys don't remember Lithoform, pretty cool. Maybe this might be the better choice. Occasionally get to do some weird, like, janky shenanigans, copying our triggered abilities or what have you. Would be cool. Let me know what you think. I'm going to test out a single copy of Silverquill Command, just being able to bring back potentially a Hotshot Mechanic from the graveyard, and also drawing a card, giving something flying. I mean, just an all-around pretty cool command as far as commands go. I thought I'd give it a whirl, since we're playing with the right colors for it. Then I've got 3 copies of the Surgehacker Mech, and then it says the battlefield that deals damage equal to twice the number of vehicles you control. So oftentimes that can be 4 to 6, which is great. And then you can crew it and swing in with Menace for 5, which is obviously also really good. Then I've gone for a nice AO top end here, which is, you know, I kept trying to make this deck, and every time I would type vehicle into the search box here, and AO would pop up because it has vehicle in the text box there on the second option. You put 2 +1/+1 counters on each permanent you control that's a creature or a vehicle. So that's obviously great in this deck because of the aforementioned sort of situation where you either sweep your own board. You may have noticed I have 4 sweepers in the deck, or, you know, you get swept. Your vehicles stay behind, and then you put 2 +1/+1 counters on each of them. The following turn, you crew your Surgehacker Mech with a Mech Hangar and swing in for 7. That can often win games. But if you don't have any vehicles on board, or, you know, the board state dictates it so, then you could also just go for the first option, and you can get a Reckoner Raid and a Bankbuster, or, you know, a Greasefang and a Hotshot Mechanic, or just another Surgehacker Mech. I mean, there's plenty of stuff that you can snag looking at the top 7 cards of your library with option number 1. And then we've got 2 sweepers, Path of Peril, I've already touched upon, as well as Doomskar. And then in the mana base, just 2 caves, 2 hives, 1 Eiganjo, 1 Takenuma, 3 Mech Hangars. Very important card. Like in the deck, this is crucial. I had 4. We may even go back up to 4 and drop a cave or something, because this is really like essential stuff. It just feels so confident to like just play out your creatures and then just sweep the board anyway. Even your Greasefang, doesn't matter. Following turn, you still got all your vehicles, crew them with a Mech Hangar, or, you know, channel a Born to Drive, get 2 pilots, or you know, just play a 1-drop from your hand and crew up what you've got left behind. It's just really I've been really enjoying that, and I hope to showcase it tonight. So that's the deck. Orzhov vehicles. Let's jump into some games. Alchemy. How does it default to alchemy? Alright. E.1. 94%er. Probably elves. Probably. Wow, the pathways are going to be such an interesting change. Post-rotation, we're losing the pathways. I wonder what they're going to bring us in the new set to kind of make up for it. Very tempting to just sweep this right now, honestly. But I think it's probably better to just wait. Drop a Bankbuster. These guys aren't doing too much damage. Let's see what he ramps into, you know? It's probably... It could be Binding of the Old Gods onto my Bankbuster, though, which is pretty annoying. I'll take another land with one turn away from... Ooh, just Jund. Okay. Definitely not elves. Ooh, I can't wait to Doomskar that board. What do we just play out of? Surgehacker Mech. Kill the Stormseeker and then see what they play next. Because if we don't... I mean, okay, fine. Let's sweep the board. Kind of wishing I'd kept that sweeper. But AO is nice with the Menace. Although Fracture into another... Fracture into card draw. Take another 4 damage, unfortunately. What I wanted to see. Starting to think 4 Bankbusters might be a little bit too much. Like there could be... Might be the trim to put in an additional copy of what I was saying before, the Mech Titan. Nice. I'm dreading Obnixilis, obviously. Also that new spell, Unleash the Inferno or something like that. Okay. I mean, an exile effect in these colors are quite rare. He's probably Unleash the Inferno now. Or Deadly Dispute on his cat. Interesting. Old Span Dragon. We block and trade and get value. Oh, he's got removal as well, so he's going to get in for 6. It's bad. That's very bad. I mean, I'm guessing. He was touching on my AO. Yep. Oh, let's see what we get. I mean, that's pretty decent, right? At least we can block the 2/2. And then we can cast the Surgehacker Mech and take out the Goldspan. Probably they are a ranger class, to not waste them off of the, you know, because otherwise they go away. Start those off of the Riveteer charm. Don't know if he's playing this. Cameo's still using. Somehow doubt it. Booyah. Maybe turning the corner here. More flyers would be problematic. But we do have air in the wings. About the little crew boys. That's okay. Vehicles have menace. Let's it through. Oh. We've reached the point where we've got 2 mech hangars, all of our vehicles. Doomskar just doesn't bother us at all. Of course, Obnixilis would be pretty bad right now, like, I guess. I mean, we've got the flyer, we've got the menace. There we go, another death there. Do we put the +2/+2 on everybody? I think so. Booyah. And card draw. Boom. Game 1 goes to the vehicles. Very nice. It was probably an Obnixilis deck, and we just kind of got a little lucky there, but still getting to show off many of the play lines from the deck, so pretty happy. Pretty happy. Not gonna lie. Wunderkammer. Okay, that is a 1-land hand. That is a 4-land hand. Okay. We pitch 1 swamp. Keep the rest. It's not the best hand ever, but at least we can draw some cards with the Bankbusters. Sweep some boards with 1 more white land. I'm alright with that. Definitely better than the 1-lander. I'm a vehicle deck. Check me out. I'm a princess deck. I'm gonna be able to swing for 4 next turn. most likely. Which is always great on turn 3. Yes, it is. Skadoosh. Some artifact removal, maybe? Strangle. Wow. Triple Xander's Lounge. He must be pretty stoked about that. You don't need to brew. Oh. Definitely prefer to land there. Wanted to play out another Bankbuster or my hearse. Stuck on 3 lands. Alternate name for the channel. Yeah. He's got something like Infernal Grasp. But 8 damage is pretty nice this far into the game regardless. I'm pretty scared though. Grixis is gnarly. Like, could be anything at this point. Probably deciding whether to hold up a big score or get rid of my Okiba. Taps out for the Okiba. Play another Okiba. Still no land though. One is down to 8. Now we're well into Invoke Despair range, unfortunately. Please just give me land. Please land, land. You. I can't believe it. Something nasty, I'm sure. Wow. Fantastic. Fantastic. Not looking good. Maybe it's a bombardment deck, which would be great for our fracture here. Can you believe that I have not drawn a land in this long? Or just Galvanic holding up the priority? Probably. No counter magic though. Another Prismari would be, of course, terrible. I got a sneaking suspicion there's another Prismari coming my way. One more land and we can attack with the Bankbuster next turn through the Mech Hangar. I mean, this is just insane, you guys. I have to chow that. Just in case it is a bombardment deck. So cheeky. So cheeky. It's full on Grixis spells. I mean, clearly you're gonna cast maybe double Prismari Command again. Oh. Well, then at least we still got his iteration. What's going on? Okay, so we got some information about his hand. Don't know if that was supposed to happen. Cool. Can you imagine being down on 3 lands, facing the opponent's like 6 or whatever, 7? Is just obviously ridiculous. I got this like Invoke Despair kind of feeling. The pit of my stomach. Somehow. Got the mana for it. Woo! Okay. Now. Counter spell of some kind. No. Lack of lands has been quite insane this match. We are almost 20 cards deep, and we've drawn 4. There was one we bottomed. Opponent goes down to 2 if we can get through with this. No such luck. Landlord. Wow. I'm surprised there's been no creature lands so far. What set was this? Really nice. Very, very nice. Did you just not put anything in your sideboard? Did you just expect that to be any card in your entire collection? That was like, what? You may play a card you own from outside the game this turn. Of course, you need to put them in your sideboard, mate. Whoop-de-doo. Now we get that. I think we want a second white source. Nice. If he sweeps the board, we can make the pilots and just crew the vehicle and go. And we've got the Mech Hangar that can do that as well. All creatures. Got him. Hopefully. I mean, he could still have removal. Please tap out. Yes. You're dead, dude. Didn't you realize that I have a Mech Hangar? I don't think... I mean, this could be fading hope. No one ever sees it coming. Mech Hangar, baby. Woohoo! I would go so far as saying that if you're playing Reckoner Bankbuster in your deck, be it a vehicle deck or not, just a sneaky one-of might be a really good idea. Just throwing that out there. How are we doing for time? Alright, I think probably... I don't know. It is very late. 37 minutes in. Have we shown off all the play lines and interaction? Mostly. We haven't brought anything back from the yard with Greasefang. I did quite like the command there in that one time we got to cast it. I don't know. Those are some pretty convincing wins, in my opinion. And I don't want to go too late, so I think I'm going to just leave it at that. Thank you all so much for watching. Of course, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. I will see you all tomorrow with some fresh brews, as always. And until then, this is Lone Fox from the BrewLab, signing out. Peace, y'all.